So this is our latest import, the Redmi K40 Gaming Edition. It is rumored to launch in India as the Poco F3 GT. And it is an interesting smartphone in that it has the distinction of being Redmi's first ever gaming phone, and it also uses MediaTek's most powerful chipset right now, the Dimensity 1200. Hi, my name is Ershad, you're watching My Smart Price, and in this video we're going to take a first look at the Redmi K40 Gaming Edition, and of course I'm going to be doing a performance comparison test of the MediaTek Dimensity 1200 inside this against the Snapdragon 870 and the Snapdragon 888. But yes, before we move on, don't forget to hit that red subscribe button and the bell icon right next to it to get notified whenever we put out an awesome new tech video. Also, every subscription matters to a new creator, so if you like the kind of content we're making, please don't forget to hit that red subscribe button. So the Redmi K40 Gaming Edition has an unabashedly gaming aesthetic despite its candy bar form factor. For example, the LED flash next to the camera module is shaped like a lightning strike, and the cutout for the speaker grill on the top and the bottom has similar angular shapes. To add to that, there are words such as freezing, fighting and speediest strewn around the back to drive home the point that this is indeed a gaming phone. And finally, the camera module has U-shaped strips of LED lights when you have Game Turbo on for a game and for incoming notifications too. So all this visual flair is definitely attractive for gamers, but if you ask me, I prefer more of a minimalistic approach, so this design is not for me. Although the physical triggers on the top is the main reason why this counts as a gaming phone for me. You can map it to your game's on-screen controls like I did for Call of Duty Mobile and gain some tactical advantage in competitive matchmaking. It's pretty ingenious that Redmi has tucked the physical triggers inside the body of the phone on the right edge, and you can slide it out using the dedicated sliders for each trigger. The mechanism sounds super satisfying. Take a listen for yourself. Thanks for attending my concert, folks. That'll be all. But yes, the slider buttons are annoying when you hold it in the hand in regular usage, at least the bottom one is. Also, I feel the triggers are a little too close to the edge. They should have been placed slightly further inside. That said, the haptic feedback is sublime on this phone. You can tell it is finely tuned when you can feel the vibration at each volume level change using the rocker. What I love about the design is that Redmi has managed to keep the phone slim at 8.3mm and the weight at just 205 grams for a gaming phone. The other cool addition is the support for high-res audio, which actually is written on the box in bold, and of course the JBL branded speakers that sound really good, loud and clean as well. Take a listen. The display is an OLED panel with 120Hz refresh rate and a peak brightness of 500 nits in daily use. The display also supports HDR10 Plus and 480Hz touch sampling rate for snap responses. There's also Gorilla Glass 5 on the front. You get a 5065 mAh battery inside with this really funky 65 watt yellow charger with a corresponding yellow cable. By the way, the phone is running the Chinese variant of MIUI 12.5 and side-loading GMS apps has been disabled now. We can talk about the UI if and when this phone launches in India. As for the cameras, you get a triple camera setup with a 64 megapixel primary, 8 megapixel ultra wide and a 2 megapixel macro, plus there is also a 16 megapixel selfie camera. Again, it makes more sense to talk about the camera performance of this phone when it launches, if it launches in India, so let's wait for that. But let's move on to the more fun part, the performance section. But if you actually did enjoy this video till now, so don't forget to hit that like button and maybe even comment below, because YouTube's algorithm generally pushes the video if there is more engagement, so more people can watch this video. So we've got all the three phones now in front of you with all the benchmarks set on these phones as well. You can see that what we're going to be running over the due course of the video. We're going to start with Geekbench, but for now, quickly we'll take a look at the temperature. I'm not going to test the temperature at the end of the video, end of the Geekbench test, but this is just to see, what it is currently at. So you can see that all the three phones are at around the 28-degree mark. So let's quickly run these tests. Alright, so we have our final scores out here, and as you can tell, the Snapdragon 888 toting Mi 11 Ultra has scored the highest single core and multi-core scores, and of course the 870 comes close behind with the MediaTek Dimensity 1200 coming in third. Alright, for the next test, I'm going to be running Antutu on all the three phones, but I'm going to be doing 3 runs of Antutu. But before we run Antutu, what we'll do is we'll actually check the initial temperatures on all the three and the current battery life as well. So let's quickly do that. So as you can see, the iQOO 7 with the Snapdragon 870 is at around 31 degrees right now. And it's something similar for the Redmi K40 as well, K40 Gaming Edition as well, and slightly higher, around 32 degrees for the Mi 11 Ultra. Now, if you're talking about the battery life, the iQOO 7 is at 72%, the Redmi K40 Gaming Edition is at 100% right now, and of course the Mi 11 Ultra is at 95%. Alright, so let's start the first run of this test. As you can see, all the three phones have completed their tests, and the MediaTek Dimensity 1200 inside the Redmi K40 Gaming is only slightly behind the Snapdragon 870 on the iQOO 7. But of course, it goes without saying that, the Mi 11 Ultra with the Snapdragon 888 is way ahead. Now let's quickly start the second run of Antutu on these three phones and find out what they score and if these phones throttle in the end. So we have the Antutu scores of the second run, where the Mi 11 Ultra actually has scored higher than the first run, which is definitely very interesting considering the fact that Snapdragon 888 generally tends to throttle, but here it hasn't. It's actually scored 7,80,000 points compared to 7,70,000 in the previous run. But the K40 Gaming Edition has lost a lot of points. It's actually lost close to 40,000 points. And the iQOO 7 with the Snapdragon 870 has not lost much. But yes, it's been a slight loss on the 870, but yes, the K40 Gaming Edition with the MediaTek Dimensity 1200 chip actually lost more points. So now that we are done with the scores for the second run of Antutu, let's move on to the third and final run of Antutu and run and see quickly how these phones fare, and in the end we'll also take a temperature check and a battery level check as well. Alright, so we have the final third run Antutu score of all the three phones. In fact, during the run, the K40 Gaming Edition actually threw up an overheating message, so I had to put that off. Anyway, so the K40 with the MediaTek Dimensity 1200 actually scored slightly higher than the previous run, so that's good. And the same is true for the iQOO 7 as well. And fantastically enough, the Mi 11 Ultra continues to score really well. Alright, so finally looking at the battery numbers, the Mi 11 Ultra has dropped to 78, which is a drop of 17% battery. And the iQOO 7 has actually dropped to 57, which is again a drop of 15% battery. And the Redmi K40 Gaming Edition has also dropped 15% to 85%. So overall, the battery drop has also been very similar on all the three phones. Now let's quickly take a look at the temperature of the three phones. The Mi 11 Ultra has gone up to 41.4 degrees, 41.5 degrees actually, whereas the K40 Gaming Edition has actually touched 43 degrees. So that's definitely on the higher side compared to the Mi 11 Ultra. And the iQOO 7 runs cool at 39.7, 40 degrees max. So that's very, very good. Now, as you can tell from the performance of all the three phones out here, the K40 Gaming Edition with the MediaTek Dimensity 1200 chip actually lost the most points in Antutu and also got really hot as well compared to the other two phones. So this reached 43, whereas the Mi 11 Ultra touched 41, and the 870 runs cool at 40 degrees. So that's really well done. So for the next test, I actually wanted to run the wildlife stress test on 3D Mark, but unfortunately the K40 is not allowing me to download the test. So we're going to move ahead to CPU throttling. So my setup is done for the CPU throttle test. I'm going to actually run it for 30 minutes on all the three phones. So let's start the test quickly. So after 30 minutes of CPU throttle test, we can see that the Dimensity 1200 and the Snapdragon 888 throttle the equal amount, and the CPU throttle to 74% of the max performance on both these phones. Alright, now we have the spread of phones in front of you. What I'm going to be doing is actually running a gaming test on all the three phones, starting with the iQOO 7 with the Snapdragon 870. What I'm going to be doing is playing 20 minutes of Call of Duty Mobile on all the three phones, checking the temperature and the battery life at start and the end to see how it performed, and then of course giving you an idea of how the game performed on the phone as well. Of course, I will be playing at max graphics and max frame rates on all the three phones.
Enemy contact! Time for UAV recon ready for deployment.
After 20 minutes of gaming, we've created this chart. You can see that all the three phones along with their corresponding chips increased about 10 degrees Celsius in temperature. But yes, if you play a lot of competitive gaming and play for more than an hour at a stretch, all these phones will actually get hotter. In fact, in my testing, I realized the Snapdragon 870 generally ran cooler and is more stable compared to 888 and of course, the Dimensity 1200 as well. After using the Redmi K40 Gaming Edition, what I realized is that under 20,000, you have a phone like the Poco X3, which serves the needs of most gamers. And above 30,000, you have phones like the iQOO 7, the iQOO 7 Legend, the OnePlus 9R, and much, much more, which can be considered gaming phones for sure. But in that 20 to 30,000 price category, we actually missed a very good option. And the K40, Gaming Edition can possibly fill that gap. Now, the Redmi K40 Gaming Edition, when it launches in India in whatever avatar it does, whether it's the Poco F3 GT or just the Redmi K40 Gaming Edition, it has to launch in that price range because we already have phones with Snapdragon 870 around the rupees 30,000 price category like the iQOO 7 and the Mi 11X as well. And you know what? Despite all its valiant attempts, the MediaTek Dimensity 1200 doesn't match the thermal efficiency or the raw power or even the sustained performance of the Snapdragon 870, which is turning out to be my favorite smartphone SoC for Android in 2021. Anyway, what did you guys think of the Redmi K40 Gaming Edition? What do you think of my thoughts? Do let me know in the comment section below. If you have any questions, do ask them in the comment section below. Until next time, this is Aishar from My Smart Price signing off. Goodbye and Godspeed, my friends.